ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியல மேடம், என்னோட இது இங்க தெரியல. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. L. Ravikumar Sir, Principal Sir, Dr. P. Parthiban Sir, respected HODs, Head of the Department, respected teachers, respected students and scholars. It is a pleasure to me to give a welcome address of this webinar, Facts and Myths of Plastics Used from Water Bottles to Rocket Launching. The theme of the National Science Day is the integrated approach in science and technology for a sustainable future. See, this National Science Day is celebrated in honor of Sir C.V. Raman's exceptional contribution to research, discovery in science. Sir C.V. Raman is awarded with the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year 1930. He discovered what now is called Raman effect. He was the first Asian Nobel Prize winner. On 28 February 1928, Sir C.V. Raman announced his discovery. See, this webinar created awareness about the importance of science in daily life of people. Now I welcome Dr. L. Ravikumar Sir to deliver keynote speaker address. Now, introduction about the resource person. Dr. L. Ravikumar Sir was a retired associate professor and head of the Department of Chemistry, CBM College. Dr. L.R. Sir completed graduation from Coimbatore Institute of Technology, Coimbatore in the year 1979 and completed MSc Applied Chemistry from Anna University in the year 1981 and also completed his doctoral degree from Madras University, Madras in the year 1985. See, basically he is a well-known person in and around Coimbatore on research in plastics. He's a well-known person in polymer materials. Under his supervision, 6 PhD scholars has been completed their doctoral degree. He was a member of various board of studies in various universities and autonomous colleges, institutions. Further, Dr. L.R. Sir is a reviewer of various reputed journals, which includes InterScience, Springer, Elsevier, Taylor, Francis, etc. He is a well-known person in and around Coimbatore. He has completed various research projects also. in chemistry, which include funded by research projects of University Grant Commission, TANSI, and AICTE also. Dr. L. Ravikumar sir, he has received various honors also. He is awarded of JRF, Junior Research Fellow, and a Senior Research Fellow from University Grant Commission, Delhi, in the year 1981. And further, he is a who's in the world in the year 2088. And he has received Outstanding Scientist from Cambridge University, England, in the year 2008. His citation index more than 400. Now, I request Dr. LR sir to give a special speak on the facts and myths of plastics used from water bottles to rocket launch.
உங்களுக்கு பிபிடி இங்க இருக்குங்க சார். இங்க இருக்குங்க சார். நீங்க அப்படி கூகுள் மீட்டுக்குள்ள போங்க, இப்படி போய்க்கலாம் சார்.
அதுக்குள்ள வேண்டாம், மேடம் வீடியோ பேசிட்டு
பிபிடியை கொடுத்துட்டுங்க சார்.
இது பிபிடி
மேடம்
இல்லை இன்னும் ஒரு 2 minutes
இப்படி பேசுங்க.
The respected principal, Dr. P. Parthiban, and the coordinator of this program, KP Srinivasan, teaching faculties, and audiences who are joining this meet. I welcome you all to this talk, and I was given only a short period of time to select and give this talk. I have tried my level best to complete the task in the short period. I have chosen the plastics. I've chosen the plastics because it is impossible to live in this world without plastic. Plastics are being applied in all fields. It will take at least a week to complete all the applications of plastics in various fields. There are very few fields, and the facts which represents that the plastic use is indispensable. Now we shall go for the talk. The topic today is facts and myths of plastic use from water bottles to rocket launching. Water bottle is a very simple one. It is available everywhere. You cannot always carry a glass bottle wherever you go. And without a plastic item, you cannot live. You cannot live. You can see, first we have the Stone Age, where all the utility articles are made out of stone only. Because at this time, there is no scientific knowledge, and the old age people, they had used stone for their daily use. And then came the discovery and separation of iron from the ores. Because of the extensive availability of iron is being used everywhere. And after the Iron Age, it is now officially admitted that we are living in a plastic age. So you can see the major classification itself, Stone Age, Iron Age and Plastic Age, the plastics find the most important uses. And to start with, we can start with plastic bottles. You can see these plastic bottles are available everywhere. And these plastics bottles are wide range of synthetic or semi-synthetic materials that use polymers as main ingredients. Most modern plastics are derived from fossil fuel-based chemicals like natural gas or petroleum. However, recent industrial methods use variants made from renewable materials such as corn or cotton derivatives. So in this simple plastic bottles, how they are made, from where they are made. Their raw material is propylene. So these plastic bottles and many other plastic articles are made out of polypropylene polymer. This polypropylene polymer is obtained from the polymerization of propylene monomer. So the monomer to polymer conversion is called as polymerization. And if the polymerization process has not been discovered, then perhaps there is no discovery of polymers, and the present use may not be possible. So it is possible with the one synthetic process which converts monomer to polymer is called as polymerization. And you can see this propylene monomer is converted into polypropylene material. Propylene monomer is a gas which comes in cylinders. So once this gas, which you cannot touch or you cannot feel or do not have any shape, once it is polymerized, it becomes a solid material which can be converted into any shape and any size. So in this process, propylene was converted into polypropylene through a catalyst which is called as Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Until the discovery of this particular catalyst, Nobel Prizes in chemistry are given to synthetic, organic, inorganic, and physical chemistry. And mostly the scope of finding new material lies with the organic chemistry, and many of Nobel Prizes in chemistry is based on organic chemistry. This is the very first instant that a Nobel Prize has been awarded to polymer chemistry. Two great scientists, one is Ziegler, another petrol and diesel. Because petrol and diesel are commonly used, you may know about it. But the surprise is that only 10% of the byproducts obtained from petroleum crude is diesel and petroleum. Diesel and petrol. The rest 90% are gases, are converted into gases. So you are not manufacturing propylene. If you want to manufacture propylene, means the cost will be very excess, and the process is also very tough. Because crude oil is being found either in our country or in many countries. From many countries we are importing it. From there, on the process of cracking it down to various products, these ethylene and propylene gases are produced. So it is of no cost when you compare the ethylene and propylene with petrol and diesel. The cost is very less, and hence these gases until 1954 were passed on or burnt, and the outgoing gases are burnt in petroleum production. So these gases, which just went out to the atmosphere, they are being fired, which
சார் நீங்கள் என்டர் அடிச்சிருக்கோம் சார்
entered.
என்டர் அடிச்சு
Entered ചെയ്താൽ
இல்லை சார் என்டர் அடிச்சிருக்கோம் சார் இப்போ இது சார் இது சார்
Yeah, Ziegler polymerization, and both scientists were awarded the Nobel Prize for. இதில் போட்டுருவாங்க.
ஓகே சார்.
Now let us see the advantages of plastics. Since the late 1970s, plastic bottles have been widely adopted as packaging materials for beverages, detergent, and other consumer goods. Compounds such as polyethylene given plastic bottles several advantages, including toughness, energy saving, and ease of production. Plastic bottles are safe to use and recycle. Unlike glass containers, plastic bottles are rugged and resilient. They don't shatter into sharp pieces when dropped. When you drop a glass bottle, it takes immense time in cleaning the surface, making sure that no left over. But when a plastic bottle falls down, it doesn't break. It withstands all those things, and it is also easier to use these plastic bottles, and also for packaging and for transportation. So these plastic bottles have useful physical properties such as toughness and resistance to chemicals. Plastic materials are easy to mold into wide variety of bottle shapes, improving their appearance and utility. For example, manufacturers incorporate integral handles, measurement marks, and pouring lips into some type of plastic bottles. And you can see that Coimbatore is known for its industrial activities, and most of the industrial activities are based on polymers and plastics. And you have got variety of plastic materials are molded into desired shapes. So it is this molding process has given an opportunity for Coimbatore to develop various small-scale industries. And you will be surprised to know that on launching of these satellites, a major item, plastic items, were manufactured in Coimbatore. So it gives a chance or it gives a chance for small-scale industries in Coimbatore, because the amount of investment needed in molding is much lesser when you compare to any manufacturing industries. Now you can come to the one particular application is in the vehicles, whether cars or any other transport vehicles. Currently, there are about 30,000 parts in a vehicle. Just imagine 30,000 parts, and assembled together, they'll make a car or a lorry. Out of the 1,000 parts, 1/3 of these parts are made out of plastic. That is, more than 10,000 parts out of 30,000 parts are made of plastics. In total, about 29 different types of basic plastics and polymers are used to make an automobile. So, out of this 10,000 plastic particles, there are 39 different types of basic parts that are used in the plastics. In addition, plastics can range from crystal clear to any shade of color. You can see you have a bottle which is transparent. At the same time, you can have another plastic bottle which is opaque. And you can see different colors that are used in plastic bottles or any other plastic articles. Normally, you have to an article to have the desired color. But in the case of plastics, there is no painting is required because inherently you can add coloring materials to the plastic raw materials before processing. So after mixing with coloring materials, if you process those materials into respective goods, the color is inherently made. Color is inherently made. And then while you paint a material and you just after some time when you want to clean it, you have to wash or you have to rub. So when you rub and wash, these paints may go away. But in plastics, the colorants are inherently added and these colors will not run away while rubbing or washing. And these plastic bottles are easily recycled into many types of secondary products, including carpets, fibers, pillow stuffing, and stacking materials. That is, recycling means you have you know that these used bottles or waste bottles are collected. They are being collected for a price. So a kilogram of used bottle will fetch you not less than 50 to 100 rupees. So that is why you can see these rag pickers. Rag pickers, many of these rag pickers, they are having a livelihood only by collecting waste plastics. If you go to the dump yard, you can find huge dumps. And from there, now people are segregating into this organic and plastics. So these organic materials are converted into manure, while these used plastics are separated and they are again reused. That is, they are melted and they are molded into various types of secondary or recycled products such as carpets, fibers, pillow stuffing. Pillow stuffing means the recycled plastics are used and they are used as pillows. When we have the advantages and unavoidable situations where you can use plastics, you have to learn something about the other opposite effects, that is the ill effects, that is the health hazards. These health hazards, that means it will create some kind of, even though we are not eating plastic, we are using eatables in plastic storage. Like many people you can see nowadays, they are using their lunch box made out of plastics. Food is being stored over there, cooked food is being stored over there, and we are using it. So in these circumstances, you may get some health hazards. It is mainly due to leaching of added chemicals. What do you mean by leaching of added chemicals? Plastics alone, 100% plastics are useless. Why? Because it cannot be processed. It cannot be processed. It can be processed only after mixing it with some other chemicals. So these chemicals, they are not part of a polymer. They are mixed into the objects or the utility products. So when you use water or eatable materials in those plastics, the added chemicals slowly come out of the plastic and they will get into the food. So this leaching you can easily experience in your home. So when you have a plastic bucket, half filled or three-fourth filled with water, when you leave it for 3-4 days, just leave it for 3-4 days, and then you touch the top of the water, and you can find there is a gummy effect, or it shows that some chemicals have come out from the plastics. So these leaching of chemicals, added chemicals. So when you use a prolonged storage, that means take a bucket of water, you just go for your bath, that's okay, that's fine. But when you store the water for more than a month, that is prolonged storage, more than a month, and you use such waters, your health will get seriously affected. So the main point that you should know is to avoid health hazards. Don't use storages in a plastic container for a very long time. I mean months together, not days together. And you can see some of the plastic items. You can see there are plenty. There are very plenty, because you go to any market or you go to any shop, you find that there will be plastic articles mainly. Now, I just give a very small introduction about the plastics that are used in automobiles. Plastic that are used in automobiles. So just imagine a car which was manufactured in 1950s, probably the Ambassador car, and you just compare with the present day modern cars, you can see Ambassador is minimum at least 3 times weighing higher than the present day cars. That is, there is a reduction in weight. You say my vehicle is giving 30 kilograms, 30 kilometers per liter. So per liter, now we can see almost there are 50, 60, 70, there are vehicles now coming up with 90 kilometers per liter. So these things are possible only when the weight of the vehicle is reduced. If you make a complete vehicle with steel, just imagine how much weight it carries. The most important weight is the weight of the vehicle itself. Leave alone the passengers who are coming for it. Almost five people are traveling in a car means those five people might be less than 500 kilos. So that is not a big weight. But if you just weigh the whole car, it just weighs somewhere about 1,500 to 3,000 kilograms. So when the weight of the car is reduced, and you can see the efficiency of the car is more, and you can see the kilometer per liter is very high. So that is how nowadays the cars are made of plastics. More than 70% of the plastics automobiles have come from the plastics. Of these, there are 4 polymers which play a vital role. One is polypropylene, the other one is polyurethane, and then polyamides and polyvinyl chloride. So this polypropylene, polyurethane, polyamides and polyvinyl chloride. The polypropylene and polyethylene are totally based on petroleum products. And polyamides and polyurethanes are synthesized. There is no naturally occurring polyurethane or polyamides. And finally, this polyvinyl chloride. You can see in Tamil Nadu, in Mettur, we have lots of industrial units have come up, of which the main supplier is polyvinyl chloride, PVC normally. You know, everywhere you are using PVC. And these PVC, the raw material is vinyl chloride. You can say this is the vinyl chloride. Simple ethylene, there is one Cl. So the vinyl chloride again is a gas and is converted into polyvinyl chloride, or normally known as PVC. But PVC finds extensive use in all household and industrial activities. In Tamil Nadu, in Mettur, we are producing polyvinyl chloride, and you will be surprised to know that polyvinyl chloride is produced from salt, that is sodium chloride, what we use in our daily life. Uppu. So from salt, polyvinyl chloride. So how surprising it is. So what they do use, they get sodium hydroxide and vinyl chloride. So this vinyl chloride gas is produced from chlorine, and again it is a gas is converted into polyvinyl chloride, which is a solid and which finds extensive uses and applications. And coming back to another area where the polymers or the plastics are used is aerospace industry. Why this polymer articles are used in aerospace industry means the main reason is they reduce the weight of the aircraft and improve fuel efficiency. When it comes to military aircraft, they help extend flight range, which helps jets evade radar detection. Components of propulsion and navigational functions, structural elements are all made out of plastic. Plastic has several advantages which make them an ideal choice in the aerospace industry. You know that aerospace industry, the moment you talk about aeroplane or aerospace industry means you have to be in the space. That is, you have to parakal. For that, you can just imagine when everything is made out of steel, can a flight can run, can fly? Absolutely impossible. So a flight which is totally made up of steel cannot be made to fly. Instead, seasonal changes, that is, if you have rainy days, cyclone warning, all those things are predicted, all those things are advised based only on satellite images. So a satellite which has to send to the atmosphere through safeguard your satellite for 18 minutes, then it's okay, it's fine. So in such cases, what the multi-layer polymer is, only one, the layer, you cannot avoid burning of polymers. It has to burn because the temperature is very high. So under those circumstances, what happens is the outer layer, one by one, it goes off by burning. So there are minimum of 7 to 8 layers of plastic materials which covers the satellite. When it enters into the atmosphere, one layer by one, it catches fire and it goes out. Thereby, it produces satellites. So in these things, one by one, there is every possibility that the temperature might pass on to your satellite, thereby affecting or malfunctioning might happen. So in that cases, the main objective is not to allow the temperature towards the satellites. So in that case also, the polymers not only burn, they also don't allow the heat to go into the next layer. So this is a very beautiful aspect, because you can spend crores and crores of rupees on satellites, and you can find quite a number of useful data which can be provided by the satellite. But sending the satellite from the Earth station to the atmosphere is a big task, and the polymers which covers the satellite safely and ensure that the good health of the satellite is maintained. Okay. Now, to send the rocket to space, what you have to use is you have to use previously only liquid fuels are being used for rocket launching. So this liquid fuel is not only uh, dangerous, it also requires very huge tanks. Storage problem is there. So if we can use a solid fuel instead of liquid fuel, there are very great hopes that the rocket launching may be simplified, or and again at a lesser cost, because storage of liquid fuels is very costly and is also highly dangerous. You can see, of course, we are not getting the data. What is the failure rate in the rocket launching? Only 2 out of 10 launches are successful. The rest 8 launches are not successful. Either they explode in the midway. That is probably the major reason that these rockets are failing. But India was the first country, and that too even in Hyderabad, they have discovered that instead of liquid fuel, you can use solid fuel. So what is the soil fuel consist of? It is nothing but it is high density polyethylene mixed with nitrous oxide as an oxidizer. So you can see polyethylene, you find number of uses in so many other day-to-day articles and all other things. It is also used as a rocket fuel, so thereby reducing the cost and reducing the failure of the rocket launches. So in this area too, these polymers play an important role. Now let us come to the agriculture. You'll be surprised to know that in agriculture also quite a few polymers are used. How it is being used? The very first use of this plastics in agriculture is they are super absorbent polymers. What do you mean by super absorbent? So when some water is there, when you use it absorbs water. This water, which is absorbed in the soil, can be used for agriculture purposes. Okay. What are all the uses when you have water absorbing polymer mixed with soil? The first one is increasing their water holding capacity. That is, when you compare soil, which is pure soil, and then with water absorb 20 days per irrigation, and in some case you have to have water always in the field. Okay, what are the polymers that are used in water setting property? It is polyether ketone, thermosetting polyamide, polyamide, and polychlorofluoroethylene. So this is not part of this.
a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this webinar. Behalf of IIC, extend my sincere thanks to Chief Guest Dr. L. Ravikumar sir for his new path in science. Today, we have got lot of information which will truly helpful in our life.